Video, we're going to explore working with type as shape. We're going to be using type a little bit in a shape capacity, thinking about why there's so many different typefaces and how they're designed makes up their emotional aesthetic response, and their how you select them makes up their cognitive uh, aesthetic response. Um, and they can also provide interest. But before we can do that, we just have to get type on the screen, right? So we're going to use the type tool. Uh, the type tool, you'll notice, brings your cursor to this. Now, there's two ways you can use type in Adobe Illustrator. Now, I can just click and drag, and I drag out a box. And that box would pretty much then just pull, as I just type here really quickly. This is called area text. And this area text, as I manipulate the size, you'll notice that the text doesn't get any bigger or smaller. It just kind of reflows into the shape. Now, you would use a type tool for that when you're adding in written type, right? Something type that's copy that's meant to be read. Not so much type as shape is what we want to do. So let me get rid of that. Now, when I select the type tool, right, and I just hit T, T brings you to the type tool quickly. And I just click without dragging. And this would be something called point text. And I hit escape to get out of the cursor. Just inflexibly, you'll learn that when you're in the cursor, you have to get out of it. Same with the area text. If you hit escape, you'll be out of it. If you just go back and click the black arrow tool, you'll be out of it. So now I have this point text, and now when I resize, watch, it actually resizes, right? Because it's actually just based around one single point. It's never going to wrap. I could write and write and write and write, and this would go off the screen. It just stays on one line. But obviously I could go back in and put in a return if I wanted to. So obviously, the next thing you're going to want to do is once you have a typeface that you or a shape or some type is to change the typeface, right? So up here you have if you have your type selected, you'll see a drop down for character. And this I can go ahead and pick something like Hayden Schwaler, and make this real dark heavy feeling type. Also, if the type has a different version, so that's not a good one to take. Let's go to just like a normal font. Oh, where are all my normal fonts at? Let's go to Merriweather. Merriweather here, look at this, a serif font. And maybe I need a light italic version, or maybe I need a black italic version, or um, just bold. So you select the weight or style up here as well. This is font size here. If you need to actually just change the font size to a specific size rather than just kind of resizing it and figuring it out. Um, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that second word, so I'm just working with one single line here. Or actually, yeah, I'll leave it as one thing. If another way, if these to manipulate these, and they'll come up, is to go to Window, Type, and your regular stuff is just character. Um, there's a lot that we can do. We're not going to think a lot about typography until a little later in the course. But the real important thing that we're going to do is uh, take this type, because type is a special object in Illustrator. You'll notice, right, it's infinitely editable. I can change this to whatever text I want to make it. But sometimes we're going to want to work as type as shape. We're going to maybe want to manipulate. Say we're doing a logo and we're kind of customizing the type, right? You don't just, generally logo designers don't just take any type off the shelf and they call it a day. They will manipulate in some way to make it a little more congruent to the brand identity. And so what we need to do is convert this type from a type object to just a regular normal, just like our circle square, where it has the points all around it that we can manipulate. Because right now, right, if with a white arrow, it really doesn't do anything. For that, we go to Type, Create Outlines. I actually, again, never go to these menus. I use quick keys. So if you hit Command-Shift-O, it will actually convert your type to objects. So now if I come in and look at it with the white arrow, you'll see that each individual shape you can see has all these little arrows. The thing is, right now the object is all your type. If you're doing this with a word or something, it's all kind of grouped. So if you need to release that group, you go to Object, Ungroup, And now when I select, right, I'm selecting individual letters or letter forms, right? So that I can go ahead and manipulate them. I can go to the white arrow, and I could have done that when that was here, but ungrouping is kind of your key here, because you'll find that when you create the outlines, you're going to have to go back to ungrouping. That's pretty much the basics of manipulating type as shape, right? And so we'll be doing that, where you'll take maybe single letters and manipulate them a little bit for various purposes.